Hi, I'm Spencer. I'm a registered social worker here at Church Wellesley Counseling and Psychotherapy, and I also offer psychedelic integration for clients. So psychedelic integration therapy is the process of really kind of integrating what comes up during someone's psychedelic session. I mean, oftentimes someone will use psychedelics and it will kind of disintegrate the ego, disintegrate like coping mechanisms, things like that, and they'll gain a new perspective on life. But after the session, it's really important to integrate these learnings, these teachings, because your ego comes back, your coping mechanisms slowly start to come back, and it's important to take advantage of that time to really solidify what you've learned so that you can apply it to your life. So a lot of feelings can come up during someone's psychedelic experience, and these can come from like parts of yourself that have been kind of buried in your subconscious for a long time. And in this process, they might reconnect with these feelings or notice them for the first time in a long time. Even though like maybe they were always kind of there, like under the surface, it kind of brings that back up so that you can really connect with that part of yourself. You'll kind of see that some clinicians offer psychedelic integration, whereas others offer psychedelic assisted psychotherapy. And the difference here is that for psychedelic assisted psychotherapy, you would be going to a clinic to take the psychedelic with a therapist. And then with psychedelic integration, this is more so the understanding that some people are going to use psychedelics, and it's important to have that integration resource to be able to integrate those experiences and to safely traverse that terrain. Because what can happen a lot of times is you can use a lot of psychedelics and not integrate material and bring up a lot of subconscious material. So having that resource of psychedelic integration where you don't have to go to a clinic, you don't have to pay all the money for the psychedelic therapy service, you can just go to someone and integrate those experiences, I think is really important in the psychedelic therapy space, just because it's the reality of the situation that there are people using psychedelics and they could benefit from integrating those experiences. Yeah, in terms of integrating on your own, there are definitely a lot of helpful resources out there to do so. There are lots of groups you can reach out to where people kind of integrate with each other. There are like workbooks that are offered. I know MAPS has a workbook that they offer for integrating psychedelic experiences on your own. So it is possible to do so, and I would encourage people to do so if that's what they'd like to do as well. The only caveat with that is you really need to be engaged in the work and doing that regular self-practice and having an understanding that there's a like certain frequency, there's a certain time, there's a certain place where you most benefit from psychedelic work and psychedelic integration. And then also being careful of the whole chasing the dragon, going down the rabbit hole thing that can sometimes happen with psychedelic use. So I think having a clinician to work with brings a lot in terms of having that safety net and someone to bounce ideas off of, and having someone who's really been through these experiences on their own. But of course, you can reach out to community, you can do the work yourself. That's totally fine as well. It can really depend on you and yourself. I mean, every psychedelic session is different. Every psychedelic session brings up different things for different people. But I approach it really from the internal family systems lens, which is just kind of working with the different parts of yourself that come up during your session, and then working to kind of unburden different exiles that might not have been fully unburdened during your session, so that you can like fully go into the process that you've started. And from there, just kind of building understanding of what happened and really kind of cementing those feelings that came up during that session so that you can really hold them with you as you move through life. And yeah, that's usually what we work on. Me personally, I prefer in-person work just because I feel like I can connect with the client more and you really get a feeling of what the experience was like in the room. Of course, you can still get that over virtual, but it feels like a little more disconnected for me personally. But I know there's a lot of benefit from it still. You still get to do the same work. It's just kind of a different feeling. If psychedelic integration is working for you, I think you just kind of notice that the things you experience during your psychedelic sessions, the things that you realize about yourself, the things that you realize you want to change in your life, you start making those actionable steps towards that change. Oftentimes what will happen is the ego will come back and you'll wake up like a month later with back in the same place you were before your trip, right? So really seeing that actionable change in your life, that's when you see and know that psychedelic integration is working for you. No, this clinic does not administer psychedelics to clients. We more so offer the service of psychedelic integration after someone has done a session on their own. If you're looking to do psychedelic integration work, just send me an email at spencer@cwcp.ca. I love this work. I love doing sessions with psychedelic integration, and I have a lot of experience in the field. So reach out, we can get to talking and go from there.